Andrew Yang refuses to leave the public sphere after losing the New York mayor's race and the Democratic primaries for the presidential nomination in 2020. He has been on an absolute tear, and he just went on Anderson Cooper's show on CNN about a week ago to talk a little bit about why he is no longer registered as a Democrat and is now an independent. He's starting an organization called the Forward Party. I'm not exactly certain whether or not that is going to be an actual political party or if it's going to be a movement such as Justice Democrats, where they run candidates which they have vetted to ultimately represent us in Congress and other districts of government, forms of government, etc. Take a look.
Andrew Yang, who ran as Democrat for president last year and New York City mayor this year, says he has left the party, is now registered independent. He writes on his blog, quote, "Breaking up with the Democratic Party feels like the right thing to do because I believe I can have a greater impact this way." This comes as his new book, set for release tomorrow. The title, Forward, Notes on the Future of Our Democracy. Andrew Yang joins us now. Thanks for being with us. So why leave the Democratic Party? I mean, you ran for president and mayor as a Democrat.
I've been a Democrat for 26 years, Anderson, but if there's a theme of all the segments on your show tonight that I saw, it was that polarization is at record high levels in the United States. Political stress is approaching civil war levels. And the question is, how can we bring the temperature of the country down? And I want to be the metaphorical wet blanket for the country. But I'm bringing not just, hopefully, some kind of soothing words, but an actual policy fix that will help bring the temperature of the country down by changing the political incentives of our leaders. Because right now, if you're a member of Congress, your job is to please the 20% most extreme on either flank of the population. What we have to do is change it so that you have to try and appeal to 51% of the population, and that would bring the temperature of the country down very, very quickly, almost overnight.
I don't think you want to be a wet blanket. I think it sounds like you want to be one of those weighted blankets that's like more comforting.
Yeah, Van said the snow cone. I want to be the thing that soothes people and makes them happy.
So, but I mean, when you look at D.C., you just look at the Democratic Party right now, the splits in Washington over infrastructure, social safety net. If you're an independent now, who do you think has the better argument between, progressives with their $3.5 trillion pitch for new spending, moderates who want to see the number, cut in half at least?
I'm someone who wants to solve problems, Anderson, and I happen to agree with one side's approach when it comes to infrastructure. Actually, it was a bipartisan bill, at least in the Senate. But the question is, how can we actually make our system work for us, the people of this country again? Because we can sense it's not working that well right now, and we're being set up to fail. Right now, the incentives are such that Congress has a national approval rating of 28%. The re-election rate of individual members is 92%. Because again, they don't have to appeal to the general population. They just have to appeal to the 20% on either side. That's what we have to change. And I'm starting a popular movement to help implement open primaries and ranked choice voting that would dramatically improve our legislators' incentives and reduce the polarization that right now threatens to tear our country apart.
Given Republican control, though, of a lot of legislatures, how likely do you think it is to change voting like that? I mean, there are now increasingly bills in legislatures around the country to make voting actually more difficult.
I'm happy to say that this has already been done in one red state, Alaska. And all we need is enough Americans to come together and say enough is enough. We're sick of being pitted against each other. We're sick of the dysfunction. And to push ballot initiatives that just require a lot of Americans signing in 24 states around the country, from Missouri to Massachusetts. I watch not just your show, Anderson, but all of us can feel the political tension rising and rising. And the question is, what can we actually do to fix it? If enough of us get together, we can actually make this happen state by state. You don't need Congress or even state legislatures in half the states in the country.
You wrote, you've written about what it was like to run for president. You were running as a Democrat, and about how it was sort of like having your birthday every day, and it became more of sort of a brand that you were promoting. I'm wondering, the run for mayor, you ran for mayor of New York, you lost in the primary. Do you regret running for mayor?
It was a privilege getting to meet so many people all over New York City. We set a new record for a number of individual donors to a New York mayoral campaign. Got over 115,000 first place votes. My only regret is that I'm not in position to do more good here in New York. But now I feel like this can do so much good for the entire country, Anderson, by proposing a real policy solution that will actually reduce polarization in this country and get us to a point where we can actually have dinner with our families again around the holidays.
Andrew Yang, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Again, the new book, Forward, Notes on the Future of Our Democracy, it is out tomorrow.
Now, if he thinks that this is going to be an actual political party that could win at any level that isn't extremely local, then I got a bridge to sell you, buddy. It's not going to happen. People are scared that, they're scared that their counterparts are going to be that tribal. Now, you do have plenty of people who do vote independent, but the odds of a third party actually rising is fucking ridiculous. The most successful we have seen a third party candidate be was, I guess in 2016, when the likes of Ron Paul ran as a libertarian. I'm pretty sure he actually got fairly close to winning a state. Couldn't tell you specifically which state it was, but he was right up there behind, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in one of these states. I believe that Donald Trump wound up taking that nomination, being that, typically people on the right oftentimes associate themselves or identify as libertarians. But if his Forward Party really becomes more of a political action committee, a lot like, say Justice Democrats who run, self-proclaimed democratic socialists, social democrats, or even socialists, period. I think that could be very behooving if he actually runs Republicans in very small red districts where, a progressive is less likely to win as a Democrat. But here's the thing is I'm going to want to see these Republicans that get elected actually vote in favor of policies that are legitimately fiscally conservative, meaning I don't want to see any more funding of the military industrial complex. I don't want to see I want to see them dilute the Republican Party of its inherent corruption. And if we could see them vote if we could see them vote together as a block, as opposed to along with the rest of their Republicans, which I'm sure they would frequently vote with other Republicans. But if we can see them vote as a block, then that's a candidate I could see myself backing in a smaller district. However, whenever it comes to more urban areas, like I said, I'm from Austin. We're pretty democratic. Most cities are going to be very democratic. But, say one of these people actually is fiscally conservative, is pro-life, maybe you might actually see a populist uprising within the GOP where, they vote to cut all of this spending, but then they're also, fighting big pharma and the healthcare mafia. Maybe they might actually work with, progressive Democrats in the House and in the Senate to get something as simple as Medicare for All enacted, which I, in one of my videos, said is extremely popular and would save us trillions of dollars over the next 10 plus years. So this is, I think that if that's what this is, and I think that Andrew Yang's got a lot of potential with this Forward Party movement.